She danced like she didn't care who watched her. Not in the careless, performative way that invited attention, but in the kind of way that said she had seen too much of life to flinch at its gaze. Keaira moved through the amber haze of the club lights like smoke, fluid, untouchable, deliberate. Her stage was lit in reds and golds, the kind that made everything look like a dream half-remembered. But she was real. Soft curls bounced against her shoulders, and her honey-brown skin caught the spotlight like satin. There was a melancholy in her rhythm, like every sway of her hips was a question she hadn't yet asked out loud. To the regulars, she was just another pretty girl working the late shift. To the men who threw cash too fast and smiled too wide, she was a fantasy. But behind her steel-gray eyes, there lived a storm, and no one ever stayed long enough to understand it. No one, until he came along. He didn't belong in that club. Not really. The velvet rope had no business letting in a man like him, tall, quiet, and wearing a stillness like armor. He wasn't the loud type, didn't gawk, didn't throw money. He ordered whiskey, neat, and sat at the far end of the bar, like he was waiting for a train, only he could hear coming. Kerri. That's what the bartender called him when he nodded his thanks. Just Kerri, in a voice low and respectful, like you might say the name of someone you know better than to cross. And every Thursday night, without fail, he came. He never tried to talk to her, never came close. Just sat in the shadows. A glass, in his hand, his eyes fixed on the stage, not with hunger, but with recognition. Like he saw something in her dance that reminded him of something he'd once lost. Keaira noticed. At first, it annoyed her. Men who stared too long always did. But his gaze didn't burn, it lingered. Like warmth. And after the third Thursday, she stopped dancing around it. She danced through it. Whatever story lived behind that man's eyes, it matched the ache in her bones. On stage, she wore sequins and sharp eyeliner, but off stage, she was quieter, tired, always tired. She'd walk past the back hallway with her gym bag slung low, earbuds in, lips slightly parted like she was chewing on a thought she couldn't quite swallow. Some nights, she wondered why he came, wondered if she looked different in his eyes than she did in the mirror, stripped of lashes and lights and pretense. She wondered if he saw her, not the act. She wasn't in the habit of caring who watched her. But Kerri didn't watch. He witnessed. There's a difference. One night, a girl she worked with nudged her between sets. "That man's in love with you," she said, half laughing, half sure. Keaira rolled her eyes, but her hands tightened around her water bottle. "I don't even know him," she said. But that wasn't the truth. She didn't know his name. But she knew the shape of his silence, the way he stirred his drink without looking, the soft scratch of his beard when he rubbed his jaw, the way he looked away, always, right before she turned toward him. It was a dance of its own, and like all good dances, it was only a matter of time before one of them stepped forward. That night, the club was quieter than usual. Rain tapped against the windows like a soft metronome, and the stage lights seemed more forgiving. Muted blues, a slow, golden wash. Keaira walked out without fanfare. No heels this time. Just barefoot, grounded, present. The music started low, something moody with a heartbeat rhythm. And from the first motion of her body, it was different. Slower, less of a show, more of a confession. She wasn't dancing to be seen. She was dancing to be understood. Her eyes didn't scan the crowd. They locked on one place, the far end of the bar, and he felt it before he looked up. Kerri sat up straighter, the rim of his glass resting against his lip, but untouched. He didn't blink, didn't move, just felt felt the way her body curved with the bass, the way her hands slid across her stomach like she was tracing something she'd buried. The way she tilted her head to the side and held it there like she was waiting to see if he'd flinch. He didn't. And in that stillness, something passed between them. Unspoken, undeniable. She knew he was watching. And for the first time, she wanted him to. Every sway of her hips, every breathy pause, every slow turn, it felt like a message, not meant for the room, meant for him and only him. She never touched the pole, never smiled. She just moved like the music was telling her, secrets only he could hear. When the lights dimmed and the song faded, she didn't bow. She just walked off, calm, almost careless. But as she passed behind the curtain, she looked over her shoulder, straight at him. It was a look that said, "You saw me, all of me. What now?" Kerri didn't move for a long time. His whiskey was warm. The room had returned to its hum of casual noise, but nothing felt the same. That performance hadn't been for the crowd. It hadn't even been for her job. It had been for him and him alone. And somewhere between the first note and the last look, something inside him had shifted, and they both felt it.